No tree is more beloved in Eastern Europe than the birch tree. It is clear that these majestic trees are more than just part of the landscape. They carry profound cultural and spiritual significance. In the Slavic folklore, the birch tree represents femininity and shared love. The Slavs used it for cooking, medicine, crafts, and witchcraft, and even clothing. The birch tree was an essential part of everyday life and culture for Slavic people. However, by some Slavs it is feared. Prepare birch sap and discover the many symbolic meanings of the birch trees in this episode. Dandelions. Just me, you, and birch trees. В ополе береза стояла, в ополе кудрявая стояла, люли, люли стояла, люли, люли стояла. On the one hand, people say the birch tree cries with birch sap, and it is often struck by lightning. Because of that, in some areas, a birch tree is believed to bring misfortune. In the northern regions, people wouldn't build houses near them to avoid fires and troubles, and wouldn't use birch wood for a stove. Also, some legends portrayed the birch as the cursed tree by God. In Serbian legend, for example, its twigs were said to have been used to whip Christ. On the other hand, and most commonly, to be fair, a birch tree is believed to bring luck, safety, and prosperity, and is seen as a blessed tree. Being struck by lightning would often be seen as a sacrifice from the tree to protect a household from evil spirits, so the Slavs would strategically plant a birch tree in their backyard. In Polish belief, it was said to have sheltered the Virgin Mary and the infant Christ from bad weather with its branches. Similarly, in Russian legend, it was also said to have sheltered Saint Friday from persecution by a devil. A birch tree has undeniable ties to the underworld and witchcraft, because the mischievous spirit Rusalka, a Slavic mermaid, is known to sit on the branches of the birch tree. A clear sign that spirits inhabit a tree is a lone birch tree in a field with branches hanging to the ground. The Slavs stayed away from them. Birch branches would be often used as a strong amulet for protection. The Slavs used birch branches in fields, gardens, barns, and cellars to protect crops from pests. A birch twig broom guarded the household from evil spirits. And how can we forget the famous birch broom in Banya? I mention it in this part because Banya, aka Slavic sauna, also has ties to the underworld. Also, spells with the birch tree were common. Works for females only though. A sick woman would come to the tree to make a deal and pass on the illness. A man had to go to the oak tree to pass on the disease. Everyone agrees that a birch tree represents female nature in Slavic folklore. Birch, or bereza in Cyrillic, comes from an ancient root be, with meanings whiteness, white. In ancient times, the word white was used as an adjective and a compliment. It was a legit compliment since pale skin signified that a woman didn't have to work outside in the sun and had a good life in Eastern Europe. Having pale skin was considered a beauty standard. The tree fits the description for the female role due to its slender white trunk, elegant shape of branches, and birch cones, just like delicate earrings. The birch tree is a symbol of purity and the embodiment of tenderness. In folklore, stories and tales where a woman who died of abuse would turn into a birch tree are common. Compliments such as slim as a birch tree are still used today to suggest gracefulness, and if someone says to you, "You like a white birch tree," they mean you are pretty. The birch tree patronizes a woman, and ladies would often come to the tree to talk about life hardships and to ask for dreams to come true. Not only that, in Slavic folklore, it is believed that women who touch or embrace a birch tree will increase their chances of conceiving and giving birth to healthy children. The tree's association with fertility stems from its connection to nature's regenerative power. Its ability to shed its old leaves and grow new ones each year signifies the cycle of life and reproduction. Thus, the birch tree is often revered by couples and by pregnant women as a sign of hope for successful pregnancy and the birth of a healthy baby. The sacred birch tree is an integral part of many rituals. For instance, on Pentecost and Ivana Kupala, women would gather around the birch tree, tie a ribbon around it, decorate it, organize gatherings under it, lead round dances, and practice fortune-telling. Girls used birch wreaths to fortune-tell about marriage. Round dancing with a birch tree was popular. It is an iconic dance form. Overall, ritual processions with birch tree were common on Pentecost among Slavic people. A birch tree would be decorated, cut, and brought to the village as a guest of honor, carried through the village with songs, and then drowned in the river. The birch tree is prominent in Slavic daily life and is a part of many crafts. Birch bark was used to make baskets and household items like dishes, containers, and jewelry boxes. Shoes called lapti, made of bark of other trees too, were the most popular among ordinary people. As moisture-resistant material, birch was often used in construction as waterproofing. Slavic people would use birch beams instead of candles to light the house. Additionally, birch bark is known to be used instead of paper in ancient Rus for documents and communication. One of my first videos on the channel covers birch bark manuscripts in depth. Check it out. Birch sap was widely used for healthcare and beauty practices. People washed their faces with it. Birch sap was a remedy for ulcers. Fresh birch sap mixed with milk was given to children during teething. Other Slavs would drink it directly from the tree as a refreshing drink. It has a lot of health benefits such as anti-inflammatory properties, vitamins, and minerals. Birch sap is a true Slavic superfood. I tried it, it's delicious. Highly recommend. Additionally, birch buds are known in traditional medicine as an antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and analgesic. Birch bark has medical properties that can treat malaria, dropsy, gout, and pulmonary diseases. It can also be used externally to treat wounds, abscesses, boils, burns, and fungal skin diseases. Do you remember I mentioned the birch broom and banya? Steamed birch leaves release phytoncides that sterilize the air and act as a natural antiseptics for the lungs. The birch tree is an inspiration for many past and present artists. There is a lot of poetry and songs about the birch tree, and I won't be able to list even half of them. Many artists dedicated their paintings to the sacred tree. Birchwood by Shishkin depicts a peaceful, warm summer scene with iconic birch trees. A birch grove by Arhip Kuinji sets you in this almost magical space of summer, a little river, and magnificent birch trees. The famous Soviet folklore dance ensemble is named after the birch tree and is called Berezka. And there is also a TV show about the dancers of the ensemble. Dozens of movies and great literature involve the tree's symbolism in the story. We see a connection between Natasha Rostova and a birch tree in War and Peace by Lev Tolstoy. And traditional birch bark crafting has evolved with modern tools and techniques to a whole new level. Overall, the birch tree is the backbone of the Slavic community. Its representations of purity, rebirth, protection, and fertility are ingrained in the Eastern European region's folklore, traditions, and everyday life. The birch tree's presence in religious ceremonies, folklore legends, and personal beliefs underscores its importance and the respect it garners. Tell me, dandelions, did you expect this in-depth symbolism from a birch tree? What does a birch tree mean in your culture? When you see a birch tree in the park, the next time take a Slavic approach to admire its beauty, as we did in today's TED Talk. See you later, dandelions! Стану в балалайку я играть, стану в балалайку я играть, люли, люли играть, люли, люли играть.